All right, good morning. Here we go with my what it is I'm looking at this morning. Not quite 9:15, but let's get started. So Thursday, April 2nd, things to know. This is something that I read every morning. Just general news. I usually know these things just from reading my news sources on X. But yes, stocks fall, oil soars. Trump had a speech yesterday evening. I believe it was around 8 p.m. And from that speech, the market did not like it. Futures on MES, MNQ, pretty much everything went down except for MCL or CL. Oil went up. So oil prices are soaring this morning. I'm not quite sure what they're at. I think I heard somebody say they were around 113 this morning. Yeah, 113.50 was just hit. So we are approaching the high of a few weeks ago. This is a massive move on oil. I'll bring it up a little bit later on. Trump says that U.S. Will hit Iran extremely hard, and then in another sentence, he was saying that the U.S. has pretty much accomplished what they wanted to do, and they're going to be out of there. So hard to tell what's going to happen there, and the market does not like not knowing or indecision or unknowns. And then travel stocks are sinking because of fuel price concerns. As far as the economic calendar is concerned, we had some numbers, initial job claims this morning, which came in a little bit lower than forecast, which I didn't see much of a bump in the market at 8:30. 8:30, yeah, there was a little bit of a wick there, but not much of a bump. And that's about it. Earnings, there's nothing on tap, and the markets are closed tomorrow. Those of you in the room, I believe we're going to be meeting later on this afternoon. What does Avi call it again? Happy hour. So hopefully everybody can be there if you've got time to hang out. As far as what worked and what didn't work, I did not take any trades yesterday. As I was saying a lot, I was having a conversation with Evo in the morning. If my setup doesn't appear, I don't take it. I don't take any trades. I have taken less trades in the first quarter of 2026 than I've taken in probably ever. Yes, I have reduced the amount of trades that I take, but this type of market is not conducive for me to put on risk. It's just not worth it for me unless my setup appears. And even if the setup appears when you have, am I in replay here? Why is Apple? Okay, that's right? And this should be AMD. There we go. So even when your setup appears, when you've had a massive gap on news like this, it changes things. So as far as I'm concerned, I want to see what will happen once the big money comes in, once the market is open, the first half hour, the first hour. Let's see where the market goes. And then if the setup appears, I'll take it. So let's look at the gap down from Apple. This morning at 4 a.m. was completely bought up, and the gap is almost entirely filled already. So that is showing a lot of strength. We're seeing that this fair value gap on the 30-minute here was basically touched, but then it was respected. Well, there's a lot of buyers at this level over here. So let's put a level there. So that is a strong level as far as I'm concerned. Right, we dipped down. The entire market's dipping down close to S6, but then we bought, came and retested this level. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a level of interest. That's where I'm going to be looking this morning. If it comes and retests this level again, and we see a lot of strength that the buyers are stepping in again, it might be a long. Right, so this will be an interesting area, and this is what I do with every stock. I start usually on the Monday. I look at the daily time frame. I'll set some larger areas, but then in the morning I'll look at the 30-minute time frame, and I want to see where the buyers or where the sellers are. we can put a level up here that we sold, right? There's a big wick here. We could not get above here. We did close one candle up here, but it was after hours. During market hours, we could not make it up here. So right around this area, let's put another level, and let's put it red, just because there are sellers up here. There's buyers down here, sellers up here. In between this area, we're going to be chopping up and down. So I want to see, do we continue buying here, or do we break down and sell from here to go to the possible next level, which would be over here? Okay, so that's basically the way that I look at every stock on my chart in the mornings. Let's look at AMD. We are on the 30-minute here. Maybe I'll start putting the levels as possible support. Maybe I'll put them green, and possible resistance, I'll put them red, just so that it's a little bit more obvious. I'm not crazy about the green, just because there's a lot of green on the screen already. So can I just Control Z? Yeah, I'll leave it blue for now. This level over here was resistance. Yesterday, I had this level in here already, because this is where we broke down and then retested this level. So this was still, or actually I might have put this in yesterday. I don't remember, but anyway, it's a good level right now because it's possible resistance. But we are way down from there. And where is, I've got an alert down here. I'll move it up. I want to see, do we make a new low? And then if we do we start buying from here? So that's what I want to see from here. As far as AMD is concerned, I will see what price action does in the first half hour to hour. Gap down in Amazon as well. This was a higher time frame area of liquidity. We played around this a few days ago, and then we started buying. Now we're just underneath this area. So if we sell from here, if we come back into S4 over here, put in a long tail wick and see a lot of selling pressure, this might be a good short. First target would be S6. Next target would be around this area here. That's possible support. If that's given up, then we're going back to the lows of Monday, right? We could possibly be going into this higher time frame area of liquidity down here. Google, nice run for the past 2 days. So the range is higher, but because of news, the idea of buying S4 is out the window now. I do have a level over here. I do have an alert set over here, but actually I think I'd like it a little bit higher. I want to see, do the buyers come back in here? Because fundamentally with these stocks, nothing has changed from the speech that was given yesterday. So the people that are thinking long-term, they might just want to continue loading up. So that's what I want to see here. If it breaks down below this level, then we could be going down to this area of liquidity again. Now, let me take off this alert. There we go. Meta. I'm on the 30-minute here. So we had, again, 2 days of buying. It could be coming down to this area of liquidity. We can see that we chopped around this area for a bit. It is S6. If it were to dip down here, there's a lot of room to the left for a buy. As far as a sell is concerned, for me, it would have to go back to the area where it retested very early this morning for a possible sell. Microsoft, very similar to Meta as far as where it is right now with S4. This could be a level right here. Here, let me bring this down. This could be a level of support here. And as far as resistance, for me, I'd like it to take out liquidity up around this area, because then there's room to the left going back to yesterday morning, or sorry, early this morning. basically what I'm saying with Microsoft. Not super interested in it. I just don't like what I see here. There's a lot of chop in this area. Could be a lot of chop in this area. This could be a strong level of support. However, there's a big gap here that has not been closed yet. So there's probably a lot of buyers that are still hanging out over here. So in other words, there's a lot of limit orders and a lot of liquidity down here. So considering we're pulling back, we might come down and get this. So I don't like what it looks like right now. NVIDIA, that's quite the gap down. Came back to this area of choppiness from 2 days ago. This could be a level that we retested, right? We went up, we retested this level. Let's put a level here. This could be an area where we find buyers. But after a drop from 175 down to 170, way below S6, I don't know if I'd be wanting to buy down here. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. We'll have to see in the first hour what happens. And trying to analyze the market the way that I do it when there's a big news gap like this is more difficult. That's why I'd rather sit back, look at it, maybe look at, like I took a trade this morning on gold that I can talk about later. But this one it wasn't affected as massively with the news from last night. It did come down, but then we started buying. So anyway, I can analyze this a little bit later on. It might be a buy if we can stay above the Asia low over here once the market opens. Tesla, 30-minute time frame. Go. I'm not sure why I put that there, but let's remove some of these levels. So Tesla's dropping. I mean, it dropped over here, but now in pre-market, 3 minutes before the open, this is quite the drop here. Area of possible support, right? Chopped around in here, came down, chopped around in here again. So pretty much where it is right now. It could find support. Let's put a level here around this area. And again, when I put a line, it's much thicker than just the 1 penny that it's showing here. It's in this general area that buyers might be stepping back in again. But anytime there's a low, there's liquidity below. There's buyers that are waiting back down here, and there's stop loss orders from the buyers that got in here. Right, so there's a lot of liquidity. We could come down here and get it. Qs. Let's do this. We've got this 30-minute fair value gap from a few days ago. That was on Tuesday with the big run up, and then it retested really quickly and then continued making new highs. So this area right here could be a strong area of support. The line that I've got right now, again, buying way below S6 goes against Camarilla rules. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't follow these rules to the letter. However, I know to have them in the back of my mind. Now, these levels have all shifted because of this massive drop. So we're taking into consideration here the fact that we dropped from yesterday. Had this drop not happened, S6 would not be all the way down here. Right? So, and I mean, I could bring it up on DOS if anybody wants to look at where the numbers would be. SPY, very similar, came down, big drop here, big fair value gap, could be a strong area of support. Let's put a level in here. Actually, I'll put a thicker level, right around here. Right, I'm just going to extend this 30-minute fair value gap here. And I like this fair value gap because it happened during market hours. Right, so this was strong buying over here, then choppy, but then moving up. There's definitely a lot of interested buyers in this area over here. But again, do you buy way below S6? Maybe. I'll look at futures in a few minutes. For now, I'm going to bring up the 5-minute chart and start looking to see if we see any patterns. Any questions or comments, please don't hesitate NQ yesterday. We can look at that once the market opens. There's a lot of runners yesterday, and I'll share what my thoughts were on gold this morning. If anybody trades the open, good luck. Market open in a few seconds. If I was a betting person, I wouldn't be surprised to see this gap close. There's a lot of people that are thinking that the market is on sale right now. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing a dip down below pre-market level, and then a lot of strong buying from there for the move up or the continuation up. Nike 52-week low again. Tesla reports 358,000. I don't know if that's 358,000 first quarter vehicle deliveries. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if it's lower than expected. That's why we had this dip. Because I'm absolutely not taking any trades in the first few minutes. I'm going to share here what my thinking was on gold this morning. Let's take this away. I'll leave the actual trade there. So in the combine, the Top Step combine, I've been saying that, and I'll post something in the Discord a little bit later on. There was I opened up a secondary account. I have two accounts now. One, I've only taken two trades and I'm down 1.5 R. That is one that I've shared that it's going to be difficult to trade the way that I trade during the combine, because I aim for 3R or more. And I'm okay if it draws down. I can take 3 losses, 4 losses, and then the next trade, I'm back to break even. But with a combine, with the drawdown, it's playing with my psychology. So I figure, you know what, I'm going to try a second combine. And with that one, just for the combine, I'm only going to aim for a 1-to-1 ratio. So this is what I was looking at this morning. So this was gold at 1:30 this morning. We can see on the 5-minute, but even on the 15-minute time frame, we had a lot of selling here, right? So selling. Actually, hang on a second. I want to make sure that I'm sharing the right thing. So no, sorry, that's not the what I was looking at. Was this buying. That's what I did. So we found a lot of buying over here. Sorry, I had this is how I drew my my fibs this morning. Whoops. Let's do that, and do that. Okay, so when I got to the computer this morning, I saw that we had started buying with a lot of volume over here. There's a lot of selling, but then we put in this really strong 5-minute candle here. So what I drew was a fib from the low to the high. And my bias in this is that we're buying. Once we came down to the 50, we put in this 5-minute kangaroo tail over here. I did not go in at this point. I was looking at it, but it did not touch the 50, right? So I was patient and waited for the second touch over here. And I got in on I believe it was a 2-minute time frame. Once I got it, let's go to the 2-minute. Yeah, right there. So it touched over here, put in higher lows, put in this bullish 5-minute or 2-minute candle over here, and I went long right above here with my stop below the wick, but my take profit 1 R away. It was actually 1.1 R because it punched up, and this is the actual price that I got in or out at. And it was a good thing because we're not getting to the 3R right now, right? 3 was up here, which would have been a good target. You're looking at where it started selling before. You would assume that it could make it up there, but it didn't. And if I hadn't taken the 1R trade, it would have stopped me out over here. So it's just, like I said, it's another, the combine is something I've never done before. And just because it's a combine, I'm with one account, I'm going to try to see what happens just going 1R RVR. So I'm up 2R. I've taken 2 trades, and in that account, I'm up 2R. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. I'll make a little video about that a little bit later on, probably today. And in the other combine, we'll see if something sets up. I'll still run it like I usually do, aiming for 3R and minus 1R. So at the end of the day, it's always -1. In both accounts, right? I'll set my R at whatever percentage of the account is, and then I'll take my stops from there. One of them I aim for 3, one of them I aim for 1, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we tried to make new highs here on AMD, could not do it. Now we're moving below. Same thing on Apple. We're seeing red pretty much everywhere on this candle. So we're having trouble finding buyers above, but they might be waiting below. So that's what I'm looking for, is do we wick down below pre-market low and then really start buying? And you have to see the buyers stepping in. Okay, I'm going to leave that there, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Interesting levels on SPY here. From the selling from this area to the bottom here, that's exactly a 50% retracement. So if you trade fibs, this would be an entry for a short. Actually, it's 61.8 retracement. let's put it on there for those who are visual. I know there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's get rid of some of it. Leave that there. There we go. So this, we were selling from here. So we set the fib where it started selling. Actually, it started up here, but I mean, the first transactions, the high of the first transactions at 4 a.m. were here. So if I were to draw this, look at how it went right into the 61.8, and that's on the 30-minute. Let's see what the 2-minute looks like. It's a very narrow golden zone, but this was very bullish, and then right after that we gave it up, and on the first bearish 2-minute candle right here, entry short would be on a new low. Actually, I'll put it right on this candle right there. Stop above the wick. 3R is down here, right? But on the combine, on one of my combines, I'd just be aiming for 1, and it already did it. Right, so that's the testing I'm doing. I know it's not on futures right now, but I'm sure futures are similar. I personally would not have taken this trade because 3R is down here, lower than pre-market low. So it might happen. I'll leave this here just for the fun of it. But it's basically the just these levels I've been using for a long time with a break and retest. However, I'm using them more in the futures market because they seem to work incredibly well with futures. Oh, there's somebody at the front door. I'll be back in a minute. It's it's the thing is you'll hear this going, but the machine isn't going. That's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I find that if you Yeah, that's on. But what happens is that when you put this on. And then it's that way. Okay, now it's going. But it's not. If you find that if that's going, that the machine is going, yeah. See, and now the button's doing nothing.
Oh.
But you know the machine is on. It's on permanently. People like that. Open that.
No, totally.
Okay.
We've had this problem before. So that's
Now it wait, because it's sideways.
yeah. Yeah. You always want to make sure it's turning off.
Yeah.
Or you unplug it or like.
Yeah, and it'll,
Yeah.
and it'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll leave that with you. And if you need anything, don't hesitate, just come and knock on my door.
We will.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to grab fast, start.
Okay. Over here. It's an interesting candle on AMD here. That is my kangaroo tail candle. However, this is one that I don't like buying after a massive red candle like that, which is part of the reason that my rule states that the body of the kangaroo tail needs to be within the range of the previous candle. And it's not. It closed outside of this range. So as far as my testing is concerned, this candle does not meet the criteria for me to go long. Doesn't mean it's not a long, because honestly, as a 1-to-1 ratio right now, it's almost there, right? If your stop is, here, let me draw it. It's harder to draw in here, but if this is your stop, this range here, then entry on the break high, there you go. We're at 1.5 hour already. Right, but that's my rule. Taking along after a massive short like this is something I rarely do. But this happens a lot early in the market, right? Early first 15 minutes. We had a rejection at 293 or at pre-market high here on Google. What I would look at here is if it puts in a KT, right? And strong rejection for the short because there is room to the left with this gap. However, what I would not be surprised to see is a punch up and then a retest for the further long on here. So this is something that's interesting setting up in Google. We're seeing a lot of green now in NVIDIA, SPY, Qs. This trade here, see, that's about a 50% retracement from the high here, right? So for the people that are short, they might be reloading into the golden zone, right? That's what a lot of people, if you Google it, a lot of people called it the golden zone reload, because what happens that a lot of people are short here, a lot of people are selling, and then when it punches back into the 50% retracement area, then they reload, they continue, they add to their position, making it go short or continuing short.
I took a long on the gold.
Gold, now let's look at it.
And then the pre-market, I took a short scalp, a long scalp on the NQ. Just a little bit. I took it from 720, from 720, 730 to 800 levels.
Nice.
Yeah, just this pop. I was expecting it as a result of the pullback.
So this was the press conference. A lot of indecision, a lot of, I mean, that's why I don't like trading news here. I mean, look at this wick here. Anybody short or this kangaroo tail here could have been a long, a lot of room to the left. However, I don't like trading news events. So I wasn't looking at the market here. But this is where we started selling. So this fib, I put it in this morning, because this was the bottom, but it's not a strong bottom. This is a stronger bottom, but considering this is so close, I'm going to leave it here. I would be very curious to see what happens at 23,960 area. Right, so a lot of shorts making a bottom, putting that as your fib level for the bottom. If you're long here, that's fantastic, especially long off of S6. If we're showing a lot of buying at S6, so this could actually really start going. But if anybody is long, definitely pay attention to this area over here. That's what I'm going to be looking at here. Is this going to be a reload area for the people that are short? Right? Because it is a 50% retracement from their entry, right? Measured moves. That's what measured moves are, right? And if it breaks down from here, I would expect to go from this range here, right? Let's just put one of these here just for the fun of it, right? If it were to make a new low, I wouldn't be surprised if it makes it down here. That's just the mathematics of it. I mean, it's not a guarantee, obviously. But if I were to get in short here, my first target would be the low of day. But then if it breaks there, I'd be looking at it making another measured move down. Gold seems nice and strong. Right, very happy with my 1R trade this morning. This is what I love about futures, is that I don't have to be trading at 9:30 in the morning, 9:30, 10:30, when the moves are very difficult to predict. After hours, you take your time, you calculate how many contracts you want to get in. I use my calculator tool that I can share here. Right, I put in MGC, I put in my entry price, put in my stop loss, $500 risk, and it says buy 3 contracts. A little bit more information there, but then I need to add the 1R target here. Thank you for the thumbs up there. I'm going to add the 1R target here because of the combine. I usually do not trade 1R targets, but on a strong conviction trade, I don't hate the idea, especially in this market. The first quarter, many times you'll get to 1R, 2R, and then boom, it retraces and you're stopped out at -1. So it's just a lot of different strategies out there. I know Avi aims for much higher R multiples, but with the combine, it's different, right? Because you've got a drawdown limit. Anyway, and then this changes for whatever tool you use. So if I go to MNQ here, it'll give me my dollar per point, my tick size. Obviously, these levels don't make sense anymore, but I can put in actual MNQ size. I've got it in 2 sheets right now. I've got a sheet for long and a sheet for shorts. I will be incorporating it so that it's all in one sheet. You'll have to pick whether you're long or short somewhere up here, and that way it's just. But for teaching, I prefer having it in 2 different sheets. And then the specs are just all over here. So the sheet comes over and grabs the information from this sheet over here. So anyway, that's one of the tools that I like creating for myself and for anybody who's interested in and I know that there's tools out there online, there's futures calculators, but they're not mine. You know what I mean? Like, it's this, I created it. I know exactly how it works. I know, and I took away what I don't need. I added stuff that I did not see anywhere else. This valid tick thing over here, right? So if you're trading, let's say MES, let's go to MES over here, and the ticks are 25 cents. But if you say that it's 6,652.30, it'll say, whoa, that's not a valid tick size. It has to be 25 or in 25-cent intervals. And the other thing that I like is if I say that, actually, let's go to ES over here, and I'll calculate stop loss, let's say 6,000. So to short, so I'll put it higher, 6,800 or 6,660. On risk per contract margin. It's supposed to calculate the margin over here. I'm trying to, whoops, 6650. There we go. So when you have a stop that is telling you to buy 8 contracts, but you don't have the margin for it. My account is 50,000. The Combine account, I just built it for the Combine, the $50,000 account. It's telling me to buy 8 contracts, but over here it's like, whoa, you don't have the account size for this. You need 96,000 in margin. So again, something I've personalized. If anybody's interested, we can talk about it. Send me a DM or say something right now. That gold long looks good, Tarek. Don't know what your entry criteria is, but you know, it's
Yeah, I took it on the when we look at the structure down towards the 4611. Yes, you'll see that we did something like a head and shoulder.
Yeah.
On
Right
this
here.
2 minutes, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't take the first push. I took the 3-bar play on the second one. The break of 4627.
So right around
Yeah.
there. But on what time frame?
With the stop as you pulled the dash. No, I took it after that, higher than that.
Okay, but what time frame do you look at?
The 2 minutes.
The 2
For
minute.
execution, the 2 minutes. On the 5 minutes, it did something like a double bottom.
Yeah.
A little bit irregular.
There you go.
Yeah. And then out of it.
You mind me asking, where was your stop?
My stop, where did you put your line?
This one?
Exactly, girls. No, this one. Yeah, this is my entry.
Yeah, this is your entry?
Stop. Yes.
Okay, and stop is this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Because with that, momentum is there, and due to market structure, if we look at it, in terms of market structure, it needs to keep going. And I took my position off at 4660.
Oh, okay, so right there, probably a nice close to a 4R.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Awesome.
That was a good trade.
All right, let's see if there's anything in here. Approaching the first half hour. This is very interesting right here. This, for those of you who trade this, we're selling right here. This retracement is, let's bring it up. I don't like the fib tool in DOS, and I'm very close to canceling my DOS subscription. But let's look at Tesla. Let's look at a 5-minute time frame. So this is where we started selling. Let's look at the fibs from there, right? From there to the low. Look at that candle right there. Right? Look at that. That's called a trendy kangaroo. Right? The trend is down. We go back up. We touch the 61.8. Trendy kangaroo goes into that direction, stops out a bunch of people that are short over here, and then, or takes liquidity from the golden zone, and then a short from there. Right? Short, short tool. Let's go from there. Stop above the wick. When the wick is that large, sometimes it's okay to go 50% of the wick. And then your one to one is right there. 3 to 1 before we get to the bottom. Yep. So that's a valid entry. With your stop more conservatively, then you're cutting down, right? But that's okay. If you're aiming for 1 or 1.5 R, that's absolutely doable, right? This is a safer stop. The 50% of the wick is a more aggressive stop. An incredibly aggressive stop would be just above the wick of the previous candle over here, right? And let's bring it to 3. With a very aggressive stop, are we going to get there? It's likely. There you go. So that's what I see when I see something like this. Similar on Apple. Right? Let's bring up Apple. Do the same thing. Apple, 5-minute. Okay, started selling from here. Let's get rid of these. There we go. Get rid of those. This level doesn't seem to be holding up very much. We'll leave it there for now. There you go. Fibs from where we started selling to where we bought. Touch the 50. Zoom into the 2. Do we get a bearish 2-minute candle? Let's let it close. There you go. Do we make a new low from here? 251.98. Boom. We made a new low. Short. Conservative stop. Take profit over here is 1.5. Personally, I would not take this because I need to see a strong likelihood of getting to 3. Don't forget, we're way down below S6 right now. So, I mean, we've come a long way. Actually, the Apple is the only one that is not that far. The drop this morning at 4 a.m. was not that much. Going sideways yesterday, and then the drop we bought back. Rejected. So, yeah. And this strategy doesn't work all the time. But if you understand the law of large numbers, and you understand that if you have a 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 risk to reward, if you're right 40% of the time, you're going to make money. But you have to get the psychology out of it, and you have to be okay with losing 50% of the time, let's say. But when you're losing minus, let's say it's $100 just for easy. If you're losing 100 and making 300, I mean, you can flip a coin all day long and you're going to end up profitable. But you have to have strict rules. And that's what I've got when it comes to this. I've got rules for this actual trade. I don't take it on equities. It's something I do more with futures. But I just showed you 2 that it's working. The 1-to-1 is perfect right now. All right. 1-to-1 right there. That's with the conservative stop. There's an example of what I was talking about. 52% win rate. These are not actual trades, by the way. It's just an example. If your risk is always $100, and when you lose, right? That's a loser. When you lose one. But when you win 3. After 25 trades. With this one, because it's 25, it's an odd number. I can't get it to 50%, so I put it at 52%. But at a 50% win rate, you win 25 times, so $2,500. With this one, because it's 52, it's $2,700 after 25 trades. Right? But after, you have to be okay that after 4 or 5 trades, this could happen too. Let's put these 2 as winners to bring it back to 52. Are you able to withstand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row? Sorry, that's minus 100, minus 100, and then whoops, 300. There you go. You have to be able to withstand -1, -1, -1, -1. You have to be able to back test your system and make sure that it works more than 50% of the time, or 40%, or whatever it is that you want to use. But this is a good visual example of what's the term? Asymmetric risk. Right? Where your risk to reward, you make more when you win than you lose when you lose. Not related to trading, but Avi asked me to mention you today. We have our happy hour. Yeah, I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. Happy hour. I'm not quite sure what time it starts. And thanks, David, for saying you'd like a copy of the spreadsheet. I'll figure something out with Avi as to where he'd like me to put it. I'm thinking about doing a webinar first, so it's not completely finished yet. Like I said, I want to add the 1 hour. I want to test out to make sure that everything's working perfectly. But I can share it. Absolutely, I can share it in the community. And as far as happy hour, I think noon is usually the time. And for those of you who don't know, we sometimes play Texas Hold'em poker in there and just talk about trading, but talk about other stuff other than trading as well. It's a lot of fun, actually, especially when you're used to being alone. And I know a lot of you are trading alone in your office, and there's not a lot of people that you can talk to about what it is that you do. Tarek, thanks for the thumbs up. I know for me, I don't know anybody in my life that knows what it is that I do. Nobody. I can't talk to my wife about it. I can't talk to friends. I can't talk to family, cousins. Nobody knows. And nobody wants to talk about it either. They, A, have no interest, and B, when it comes to trading and seeing charts and seeing all these things over here, people get intimidated. So anyway, just circling back to, same there, Tarek, yeah. That's what's wonderful about this community, and the fact that Avi has given me this platform in the mornings. On Friday afternoons, today it's Thursday, because the markets are closed tomorrow, but we just hang out and just talk about different things and similar subjects to trading, but we can talk about other stuff as well. So anyway, if you're around, come and join us. And you don't have to know how to play poker. You can just not play, or you can learn how to play. It's the platform on Discord is fantastic. It's unbelievable how well it works. It calculates everything for you. There's no decisions other than, do you want to play the hand or not play the hand? So thanks for bringing that up, Jackie. Hopefully everybody who's in here can join us. And it's not in the Google Meet, by the way. It's in the Discord. Not quite sure if he does it in the games room or the trading chat, but there's one of the rooms there. You'll see that there's a bunch of people in there, probably starting around noon. So we're seeing some buying. I was saying earlier that, here, let's look at Google. Here's my analysis on Google. I wanted to see what happened if we punched above a pre-market high over here. We did. This is quite the good jump. It's at least a 50 from there. Yeah, 50-cent jump. I would have liked to have seen it come and retest a little bit sooner. If it comes and retests now, I will look at it, but that's why I don't take the break. There are too many fake outs, but right now a break would have worked. Right. And honestly, if it just keeps on running, if somebody took this, I would absolutely be aiming for PDC, because there's a massive gap here. As far as aftermarket to this open at 4 a.m. However, if you look at yesterday, there's a lot of chop in this area, so we could find some resistance over here. But if this were to retest and we're making new highs, my final target would absolutely be PDC. So that's what I'm looking at on Google. I want to see, will it come and retest here? I'll put an alert. I want to see, does it come and retest just above 293 here? That's where I would start looking at it. The 2-minute short on Apple worked for a bit. If it starts going above the 250, whatever this is, 252 level here, it could be going up and taking out the stop. But once you're in the trade, and if you aim for low of day over here, if I come back to my journal, you know, it's -1 or +3, you have to leave it on. Right? Unless it's very obvious that we're breaking structure, there's news and it's spiking up, then okay, you know, you can cut it before it hits your -1. Like, look at this on Tesla, right? You would have been able to get the 1R, but like I said, I think this is the one that I said I wouldn't have taken it because there's no room to 3R, because there's obvious support at pre-market low. It was support in the morning, or sorry, at the open, and then it showed support around 10 a.m. This is showing a bit of a break and retest on SPY, and very interesting price action on SPY. Let me look at MES here. This is the level, the 50% retracement level on the short from this morning, right? This is where we started selling and we started buying right around here. Increased volume, found a bottom over here, chopped around, but look at it getting right to the 50 here. That's a 5-minute time frame. Below 65, 57, 75. If this were to print red, we could be making new lows, right? This could be a reload area for the people that are short here. It could be a breakout and retest long. It could, but I'm going to be looking at this candle over here. $649.34. Let's see how the candle prints. That's on MES, by the way. It's not on SPY. Right? SPY will react very similarly to what happens on MES, but the what I was just showing you was on SPY. Sorry, on MES. What I've got here is SPY. Another minute before that candle closes. As far as SPY is concerned, the book is showing buying right now, but that can flip very, very quickly, especially if we break the low of this candle here at 649.42. Curious to see what the put options look like. Four seconds to the close. Oops. It's definitely a level of interest. It's a level of interest on MES right now. And SPY reacts to MES and sometimes vice versa. And sometimes we react to the options market. Options market is acting like a Friday today. Don't forget. Here we go. We've taken out the stops above that kangaroo tail on Tesla. How it reacts from here was this just a sweep to get those stops for the further move down, or are the buyers truly in control and do we make new highs? That's what I want to see. Making new highs on many tickers right now. Look at that wick on Qs. Wow. That's a liquidity sweep on NQ. There's my combine. I'm going to look at MNQ. I said I wouldn't do this while I'm online because it can be a little bit confusing. 1017. Okay. Very curious to see how this candle closes on MNQ. I don't know if anybody else is looking at this. This is the kangaroo tail that I like to see, but if the body closes above here, I will not like it for a short, and I don't like that it's printing green. A lot of buying going into the market right now. I don't know how that gold is doing. Yeah, gold, beautiful move. Eric, if you're listening, you probably wish you would have held on to the position a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, you follow your trade plan. If your take profits at 3R, take it at 3R. The amount of times that I have been at 3R and then leave it on and then it reverses right from there. It's incredible the amount of times that happens. All right, so that candle closed. Why are we not printing a new candle on Qs? Oh, no, it didn't close. Sorry, another minute for this candle to close on Qs. 23,947. Some top would be 24.04. There you go. 4 contracts. We would have to see a lot of selling happening right now. Okay, the KT closed green, which is not ideal. The body is not within the previous candle over here. It did take out these 2 levels here, so we could see some selling. It is in the 61.8 area, but right, or in the golden zone, I should say. Just touched it. Yeah, interesting price action on Qs right now and MNQ. Battles on. All right, it's in the golden zone. MNQ, we started selling up here, found a bottom down here. That's where I started the fib. That's where I ended it. The golden zone is right in here. That's where price is right now. Right? So I do nothing until either it makes a new high above the 61.8, then the trade is negated, or we really start seeing the sellers being in control here. Right? We wick up and then really start selling below the 50, 23,955. Ideally, 23,9 below the low of this one, which the low was 23,929. Right? But we have to see selling if you want to take a retracement short or a continuation short. But right now, we're very strong. 5-minute fair value gaps over here. What does a 15 look like? Yeah, right? This is strong right now. Not shorting a strong stock. 7 minutes left. I don't know if anybody has anything they want to share, any positions they've taken. Didn't have much of a retest on Google once it broke out. Yeah, for those not seeing the chat here, after the big news moves overnight, most things are mean reverting, gap downs getting bought, and gap ups in oil getting sold. Yeah, the market loves to close those gaps because a lot of people were missed, right? A lot of, there's a selling going on in Qs. Hang on a second. Go back here. On a lot of volume as well. 2409. 09. Have to be an entry around 23,940. Who's in control? Buyers in control or sellers? AMD touch PDC in reversing. You would expect that. It is a strong level of support or resistance, depending what side it's on. I'm liking the possible short on MNQ. It's 2 minutes. We're finding buyers right there. The reason I said that was because it rejected the golden zone. Now I want to see a truly bearish 2-minute candle and the break with volume, with momentum of that low. Now we're buying. So we'll see. I'll if I take anything, I'll share it in the room, the happy hour room a little bit later on. It is 10:30 or almost 10:30, so I will be stepping away, and I'll be logging in to play a little bit of Texas Hold'em a little bit later on. So have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll be back on, I believe, on Monday. I should be there on Monday, but if not, it'll be on Tuesday. Okay, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you. Happy Easter for those that celebrate. All right, cheers.